Imagine a nation of people, known for their colorful turbans and long beards, who transformed themselves from a spiritual commune into a mighty warrior society. A people who outsmarted empires and forged their own, only to see it all crumble. This is the story of the Sikhs, the brave and bold lions of the Punjab. At its core, Sikhism is a monotheistic faith that believes in one supreme, universal being. It emerged from the Punjab in the 15th century, a time when the region was dominated by two powerful, often conflicting religions, Hinduism and Islam. The Delhi Sultanate, a Muslim dynasty, ruled over a vast Hindu population. In this religiously charged environment, two movements sought to bridge the gap: the Muslim Sufi orders and the Hindu Bhakti movement. It was in this fertile ground of spiritual exchange that Sikhism was born. The faith's founder and first guru, Guru Nanak, was born in 1469. After a profound spiritual experience, he emerged with a simple, revolutionary message. There is no Hindu. There is no Muslim. There is only God. Nanak traveled extensively, gathering a following of disciples. The core message of his new faith was radical for its time. All human beings are equal, and the divisions of gender, caste, and social status are simply illusions. This belief in egalitarianism was put into practice through the langar, a community kitchen in every Sikh temple, or gurdwara, that serves free meals to everyone, regardless of their background. In a society defined by a rigid caste system, the sight of high-caste Brahmins and low-caste peasants sitting side by side to eat was nothing short of revolutionary. Over the next 200 years, 9 successive gurus built upon Guru Nanak's foundation. The second guru, Guru Angad, created the Gurmukhi alphabet, giving Sikhs a distinct written language. The third guru, Guru Amar Das, worked to abolish Hindu practices that were still common among converts, such as the seclusion of women and the abhorrent practice of sati, the ritual burning of widows. The fourth guru, Guru Ram Das, founded the holy city of Amritsar and laid the groundwork for what would become the magnificent Golden Temple. The guruship continued to evolve the Sikh faith, but a new threat would force them to transform in a way no one could have predicted. As the Sikh community grew, a new power rose in northern India: the Mughal Empire. Initially, the relationship between the Mughals and the Sikhs was one of tolerance. The worldly Emperor Akbar was said to admire the Sikh gurus and even humbly partook in the langar. However, this peace was shattered with the ascension of his son, Jahangir. In 1606, Emperor Jahangir ordered the arrest and execution of the fifth guru, Guru Arjan Dev. The reasons are debated, but his death sent a clear message. Guru Arjan's son, Guru Hargobind, responded by militarizing the Sikh people. He famously wore 2 swords, one representing spiritual authority, or Piri, and the other representing temporal authority, or Miri, signaling that Sikh leaders could no longer be just spiritual shepherds. They had to become political and military leaders, ready to defend their right to exist. Guru Hargobind and his successors led the Sikhs in a series of armed conflicts against Mughal forces, proving that this new warrior society could stand its ground. The ultimate martyrdom came in 1675, when the 9th guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur, was executed by Emperor Aurangzeb for defending the religious freedom of Hindus. His son, the 10th and final guru, Gobind Singh, responded with a fierce new wave of hostility against the Mughals. He realized that for Sikhism to survive, its identity and warrior spirit had to be able to outlast its gurus. In the spring of 1699, Guru Gobind Singh called his followers to his tent and asked for a human sacrifice. 5 brave men stepped forward, one by one. The guru emerged with a bloody sword each time, only to reveal that all 5 men were unharmed. For their courage, he named them the Khalsa, an elite warrior society. All initiated men were given the surname Singh, or Lion, and women later received the name Kaur, or Princess, transcending the old caste system. The formation of the Khalsa cemented the Sikhs' identity as a martial people, ready to protect the weak and uphold justice. For nearly a century after the last Guru's death, the Punjab was a brutal battleground. The Mughal Empire was in terminal decline, and the region was constantly ravaged by Persian and Afghan invaders. As these great powers mauled one another, the Sikhs, now a loose confederacy of 12 independent states known as Mizils, adopted a brilliant new strategy. They avoided pitched battles, instead harassing the exhausted, loot-laden armies with swift hit-and-run attacks. These mounted riflemen were as deadly as they were elusive, melting away into the mountains like ghosts. Through patience, guile, and attrition, the Sikhs grew stronger as their enemies grew weaker. By the 1760s, they had outlasted every major power and emerged as the masters of their own homeland, a collection of fiefdoms they called the Sikh Confederacy. But the Confederacy was a fragile alliance. Without a common enemy, the Mizils began to turn on one another. The time had come for a new kind of leader, one who could unify the Khalsa and forge a strong, centralized state. That man was Ranjit Singh. At the age of 12, he inherited the leadership of the most powerful Mizil. At just 17, he fended off an Afghan invasion, and at 18, he seized the Punjabi capital of Lahore, uniting the heartland of the Punjab under his rule. In 1801, he was crowned Maharaja, heralding the birth of the Sikh Empire. Ranjit Singh understood that to survive against the technologically superior British, who were rapidly expanding their presence in India, he needed a modern army. He attracted experienced European military officers, including veterans of Napoleon's army, to his court. He shrewdly made them grow out their beards and wear turbans, a testament to his desire to create a unified Punjabi identity. The result was one of the most disciplined and well-equipped fighting forces in all of Asia. Ranjit Singh's army crushed the Durrani Empire, expanding the Sikh Empire to nearly double its size, from the Indus River to the Himalayas. The Sikh Empire was a marvel of its time, a tolerant, cosmopolitan realm where people of all faiths, including the Hindu and Muslim majority, held high positions in government and the military. Ranjit Singh himself regularly visited the shrines of other faiths, sending a message that his was an empire for all Punjabis, regardless of their background. Under his capable administration, the war-torn Punjab experienced an economic revival, with massive investments in agriculture and industry. He also famously renovated the Golden Temple, covering it in marble and gold leaf. Tragically, Ranjit Singh's empire was fated to burn brightly, but briefly. When he died in 1839, his vision and authority died with him. Infighting immediately consumed the royal court, as his weak successors squabbled for the throne. The powerful, expensive army he had created, now with its pay in arrears, devolved into a mercenary force loyal to whoever offered the most bribes. For 5 years, the empire was consumed by a bloody power struggle that left it vulnerable. The British East India Company, a private corporation with one of the world's largest armies, watched from the sidelines. Having already conquered most of India, they saw the fracturing Punjab as a prime target. In 1845, the First Anglo-Sikh War erupted. Despite the immense bravery and skill of the Sikh soldiers, who fought the British to a stalemate, the war was decided not by strength of arms, but by treachery. The Sikh army's commanders had engaged in backdoor deals with the British and repeatedly betrayed their own troops on the battlefield, ordering retreats just as victory was in sight. The war ended with a treaty that turned the Sikh Empire into a British puppet state. The Second Anglo-Sikh War began in 1848, sparked by a local rebellion that spread across the Punjab. Despite inflicting heavy casualties on the British, the out-of-control and logistically crippled Sikh army was unable to stop the British advance. By 1849, the war was over. The Sikh Empire was officially annexed, and the whole of Hindustan, as Ranjit Singh had once prophesied, was now red, under British control. Under British rule, the Sikhs were at first seen as a threat, but the British quickly realized their potential. Governor-General Dalhousie was impressed by their martial spirit and began recruiting them into the British Indian Army, allowing them to maintain their sacred Khalsa traditions. Sikhs, in turn, found a new place in the military, which provided a source of income and continued a proud warrior heritage. This new loyalty was tested during the Great Indian Revolt of 1857. The Sikhs, holding a grudge against the rebels for their part in the Anglo-Sikh Wars and their reverence for the Mughal emperor, sided with the British and played a crucial role in putting down the rebellion. Sikhs became a core component of the British Empire's forces, serving in conflicts across the globe. By the early 20th century, they made up over 20% of the British Indian Army, despite being less than 2% of India's population. They earned a reputation for fearlessness and bravery, serving with distinction in World War I. At home, a massive canal-building project transformed the Punjab into a thriving agricultural hub, making Sikhs one of the most prosperous communities in India. Despite their loyalty to the British, the Sikhs never lost their longing for independence. While many fought for the British crown, Sikh activists and organizers also became a spearhead of the Indian independence movement. Their first major step came with the Singh Sabha movement, which aimed to preserve Sikh identity from the growing influence of Hindu and Muslim reform movements and Christian missionaries. It was a cultural and religious revival that successfully doubled the number of Sikhs in the early 20th century. Later, the militant Ghadar party, made up predominantly of Sikhs from overseas, attempted an armed rebellion against the British during World War I. While the mutiny failed, it successfully planted the seeds of anti-British sentiment in the Punjab. This sentiment blossomed with the Akali movement in the 1920s, a non-violent protest to liberate Sikh holy sites from corrupt administrators who were protected by the British. After a series of massacres and mass arrests, the Akali movement succeeded, culminating in the Sikh Gurdwaras Act of 1925, which returned control of the temples to a democratically elected Sikh body. Mahatma Gandhi himself called this the first decisive battle for India's freedom. As India prepared for independence, a bitter new conflict emerged: partition. The Muslim League demanded a separate nation, Pakistan, for India's Muslims, which would include the Punjab. The Sikhs were overwhelmingly against this, as it would mean losing their ancestral lands to a Muslim state. They proposed an independent state of their own, Khalistan, but it was a non-starter. Ultimately, the British decided to partition the Punjab, leaving half the Sikh population on the Pakistani side of the border. This led to the largest mass exodus in human history, as millions of Hindus and Sikhs fled from Pakistan to India, and millions of Muslims fled the other way. The migration was a bloodbath, with up to 2 million people killed in communal violence. In the aftermath of partition, the Sikhs rebounded with remarkable resilience, rebuilding their economy from scratch and transforming their new region into an agricultural surplus state. The mass migration had centralized the Sikh population, giving them a majority in a new, distinct territory. This led to a new demand: a separate, autonomous Sikh state within India. Riots and protests stretched for over a decade until the Indian government finally relented in 1966, creating the modern Sikh-majority state of Punjab. Despite this victory, tensions continued to simmer. Disputes over water rights and federal policies led to the Khalistan movement, which sought to create a sovereign Sikh nation through violent insurgency. The Indian government responded with brutal force, culminating in Operation Blue Star in 1984, where Indian forces stormed the Golden Temple to remove militants. This act led to the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi by her Sikh bodyguards and a brutal anti-Sikh massacre in Delhi. By the end of the 1980s, the general population of the Punjab had grown tired of the violence, and the insurgency was largely crushed by 1995. Today, the Khalistan movement has faded within the Punjab, though it still has a presence in the Sikh diaspora. The Sikhs of the modern Punjab have chosen a path of political advocacy within the Indian nation. They remain one of the most industrious and prosperous communities in India and the world, with a global diaspora that has left an indelible cultural mark on countries like Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom. The history of the Sikhs is a testament to their incredible resilience. They began as a small spiritual community, evolved into a warrior society, and forged an empire that rivaled the British. They outlasted invaders and dictators, survived partition and insurgency, and emerged into the 21st century as a thriving global people. The story of the Lions of the Punjab is far from over. It is a story that continues to be written every single day. And with that, the incredible story of the Lions of the Punjab comes to a close. We don't just tell history here, we bring it to life through animation to make these complex narratives engaging and accessible. Our content is grounded in extensive research from leading historians, and you can see a list of our references on screen now. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please show your support by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment below. Your support encourages us to continue unlocking history in new and interesting ways. Stay tuned, because the next video is on its way.